Yes, beta, I'll give you a little sum up for the poem and then we'll discuss according to the lines. This poem, A Thing of Beauty by John Keats, is an excerpt from his longer poem, Endymion. एंडीमियन ENDYMION एंडीमियन उसकी पोएम है, एक लॉन्ग पोएम है जिसमें से ये कुछ पार्ट लिया गया है and forms its beginning, and this is the beginning part of that poem. In this poem, the poet says that a beautiful thing gives us permanent joy, but his concept of beauty goes beyond the physical charm. It's not only he's talking about the physical beauty, but he talks in large about the beauty of nature. Beauty lies in a mountain scene, according to him, a good painting, a magnificent building, or a melodious tune. Means anything which you like, that gives the beauty, and that beauty is permanent. Life is full of joys and sorrows. We often suffer physical or emotional pain. We may face failure, treachery और misfortune हमारी लाइफ में कभी खुशी होती है, कभी दुख भी होते हैं और हमें कई बार अपनी लाइफ में फेलियर्स को भी फेस करना पड़ता है. किसी से धोखा भी हो सकता है, हमें कोई धोखा भी दे सकता है और कोई बार मिसफॉर्च्यून्स भी हो सकती हैं हमारी लाइफ में. बट व्हेन वी हियर अ लवली साउंड or see a lovely thing, our sadness is lifted. You might have heard nowadays they are giving the music therapy also for relieving the tensions. So whenever we listen any lovely sound or we see any lovely scene, our sadness is lifted and we are attracted towards that scene and we forget about our worries and tensions. If we talk about the theme of the poem, the very first line contains a message that John Keats, the great romantic poet, wants to convey. John Keats was a worshipper of beauty. He praises about the beauty of nature in all of his poems. And the same he has done in this poem also. For him, beauty was truth and truth beauty. That means he gives importance to the beauty of nature all around, and that is the truth for him. Hence, for him, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Beauty never fades, nor is it ever devalued. It never passes into nothingness. When we are full of sorrows and sufferings, some forms of beauty come to our rescue. These are the beautiful things of nature, or the beautiful songs, or any beautiful painting, whatever you like, or you have interest in any field. If you see anything beautiful in that, that makes you stress free and comes to rescue when you are sad. It removes the pall of sadness, means the cover of sadness and sorrows, and gives us joy and pleasure. Thus, beauty is a boon for human beings. So, we should enjoy all the beautiful things of nature if we want to come out of our stressful life. Now, if we go according to the poem, in the first stanza, he has given us again the importance of this thing, that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bore quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Therefore, on every morrow are we breathing a flowery band to bind us to earth. So what the poet says, okay, everything of nature is giving us beauty, and that beauty gives us joy, which is forever. It is permanent. It never comes to an end. Every time, whenever we remember about that scene, as I have already given you the example when we read the poem, that when we go outside somewhere for enjoying, फॉर पिकनिक, कहीं भी आप घूमने जाते हो, कोई भी ट्रिप आप अरेंज करते हो, यू टेक द पिक्स ऑफ द ब्यूटीफुल सीन्स. कोई माउंटेन्स हैं या कोई नेचुरल सीनरी आपको अच्छी लगती है, यू टेक द पिक्स ऑफ दोज सीन्स. एंड whenever you are sad, whenever you are in a mood, you open those pics and you look at those pics and you enjoy the beauty of that and remember the time of enjoy happiness which you have spent there. तो आपको वो happiness जो है वो और ज़्यादा आपकी increase हो जाती है. Beauty of those things increases with the passage of time. It does not come to an end. कि जब आपने देखा था तब आपको कई चीज़ें अच्छे से नहीं समझ आती, अच्छे से क्लियर नहीं होती, but when you see the pic again and again after some time when you are sad, you have the detailed description of those things. आप उस pic में उन चीज़ों को बहुत अच्छे से analysis करते हो and you realize the beauty and then you feel happy. So in this way its loveliness increases with the passage of time. It never pass into nothingness, means it never comes to an end, it never comes to nothing, and will keep a bore quiet for us. What happens, the nature provides us a bore quiet for us, a shady place. Bore means a shady place under the trees that gives us quietness, calmness, and a sleep full of sweet dreams. And when we enjoy these beauties of nature, we sit under the shade of the trees and we are calm and having peace of mind. We get good sleep that is full of sweet dreams, and if we get good sleep that gives us good health, and we have quiet breathing, that means without any problem we have full breathing and we don't have any problem for the breathing. That means it refers to the health only, that it affects our health. We get good health when we enjoy these beauties of nature. Then the poet says that this is the reason, therefore means this is the reason that every morning are we reading, we are concerned, we try to create a bond, flowery band to bind us to earth. That means we must look at the beautiful things of nature. Flowery band here refers to the beautiful things of nature, to the flowers and the plants and the trees, so that we can have a bond with the earth, with the nature, and it can provide us good sleep, sweet dreams, and good health. That's why the poet suggests that we should have a bond or a connection with the nature, with the earth. Spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways made for our searching, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Then in these lines the poet says that whatever happens in our life, whatever the problems are with which we are feeling very much depressed, we are sad, we are having gloomy days, we are full of tensions, there is no problem for that if we enjoy the beauties of nature. We can come out of that sadness, from that wall, from the cover of sadness, if we enjoy the beautiful things of nature. What are the problems he tells in the human life in this stanza? It's in spite of despondence, in spite of all the depression or the tensions or the worries that we have. And why those tensions and worries are, why we are sad, why we are depressed, of inhuman dearth, because we lack human qualities. Inhuman dearth means lack, and inhuman qualities, that means we have lack of good qualities. We follow the inhuman ways and the noble nature. We lack noble nature also. We don't have good nature. Of the gloomy days, we follow ill ways, wrong ways to do our works, and we have feeling of jealousy, ill will, enmity for others. And what happens due to that? We become sad when we are not able to get all those things which others possess. We feel sad and we feel jealousy. That makes our days sad, gloomy, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways made for our searching. For our search, that means to find out something new or to get more and more materialistic things, we find new ways, new methods, and that is the unhealthy and the over darkened ways. कैसे methods हम ढूंढते हैं जो कि हमारे लिए unhealthy हैं और जो हमारे लिए dark ways हैं, गलत वे हैं, ill ways हैं, गलत तरीके हैं, जिससे कि क्या होता है, we put ourselves into tensions and worries that causes effect on our health. But the poet says, yes, in spite of all, कि इन सब के बावजूद भी some shape of beauty moves away the pall. There are some beautiful things of nature which can bring us out of this Paul, that means from this cover of sadness, we can come out of the sadness from our dark spirits, from the evil ways, from the dark ways, from the spirit, dark spirit which we have. We can come out of that sadness, from that depression. How we can come? That is given to you in the next stanza. Such the sun, the moon, trees, old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, and such are daffodils with the green word they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season, the mid forest break, rich with the sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Now, till here in this stanza, the poet has given us all the beautiful things of nature and how they affect our life. He says, there are sun, moon, trees, old and young, sprouting a shady boon that produces a shady place, shady, comfortable place for us, for simple sheep, for simple animals, and for the innocent human beings. The sheep here refers to the innocent human beings also, who without any knowledge, being ignorant, they put themselves into ill ways, into wrong methods, into dark ways, and they create problem for themselves, put themselves into sadness and sorrow. And to come out of that sadness, the poet says we should enjoy the beauties of sun, moon, trees, old and young, and we should sit under the shady place to come out of that sadness. Then he tells more about the other things of nature, such as daffodils. He talks about the daffodil flowers, which are yellow in color. They say with the green world they live in the green world, though they are yellow in color and they provide beauty. Clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. And then he talks about the small rills here means the streams, the water stream, छोटे छोटे जो पानी के चश्मे होते हैं, brooks होती हैं, they that for themselves a cooling covert make. They make a cooling place, a comfortable place for themselves against the hot season. Even in the hot season, they create a calm and cool atmosphere. The mid forest break rich with the sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and the fair musk rose that is white in color, that also blooms in the forest, in the mid of the forest, in the break, that means in the marshy areas, दलदल वाला एरिया, कीचड़ वाला एरिया होता है, उसके अंदर ये white color का rose flower bloom होता है, that sprinkles the beauty, rich with the sparkling of fair, that means that enrich the beauty, sprinkle the beauty of its white color and enrich that area. So in this way, if we enjoy all these scenes, we can come out of the sadness. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead, all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink. So what the poet is saying in the last two lines says, such too is the grandeur of the doomsday. In the last lines, he has given different ideas with these lines, and he has connected these ideas again with the beauty of nature. He says we get enjoy or we get happiness from many beautiful things, from many good things that happen in our life, but the beauty that is provided and the happiness that is provided to us by nature is much more than that. All these lines refer to this idea only. As first line says, and such too is the grandeur of the doomsday. So we feel that the doomsday will be very magnificent day for our great fathers, for our ancestors. We have imagined for the mighty dead. Mighty dead here refers to our ancestors, our forefathers. We consider them, we imagine that they were very mighty. They have not done anything wrong. They did very good and mighty deeds, good actions they did. And we consider, we imagine that they will be honored. They will get the grandeur, means the magnificent awards. They will be honored on the doomsday, when this world will come to an end. That is considered as the doomsday, that they will be honored on that day. And what the poet wants to say here, idea is that if they will be honored as we imagine, we will get happiness. But that happiness is nothing against the happiness that we get from the beautiful things of nature. Then the poet says, all lovely tales that we have heard or read. We have heard so many lovely tales, beautiful and attractive tales and the stories in the books. We have heard from our ancestors कि हमारे grandparents भी हमें बचपन में जब कहानियां सुनाते हैं तो we get happiness out of that. When we read those type of stories, interesting stories of in our childhood in the books, that also gives us pleasure. But the pleasure and the happiness that we get from the beautiful things of nature is much more than that. An endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink. What the poet says is, okay, this is an endless fountain. The happiness that we get from the beautiful things of nature is just like an endless fountain of immortal drink. Immortal drink means the nectar, जिसको हम अमृत कहते हैं, प्योर ड्रिंक, जो देवताओं का ड्रिंक माना जाता है. जैसे कि हम चरनामत लेते हैं, मंदिर में जाते हैं तो हम कहते हैं दिस इज द प्योर ड्रिंक वी आर टेकिंग. सो द पोएट सेज कि दिस इज एन एंडलेस फाउंटेन. दिस हियर रेफर्स टू द ब्यूटीफुल थिंग्स ऑफ नेचर, the natural things which provide us beauty. That is an endless fountain of immortal drink, that is nectar, pouring unto us, that is coming to us. Pouring means हमारे ऊपर गिर रहा है या हमारे ऊपर आ रहा है, हमें मिल रहा है. कहाँ से मिल रहा है? From heaven's brink, which is coming to us from heaven. Heaven means from God's side, means God is providing us, God is giving us all these beautiful things of nature, just like an immortal drink, and which is endless. इट इज अ कॉन्टिन्यूस प्रोसेस. ये नहीं कि आज पेड़ पौधे फूल सुंदर भगवान दे रहा है तो कल को नहीं देगा. इट इज ए कॉन्टिन्यूस प्रोसेस. इट इज एन एंडलेस फाउंटेन which is providing us that purity, that happiness which we get when we get the immortal drink, when we have that drink of the gods. So in this way we are getting the blessings of the god through this nature. So what the poet suggests is that we should enjoy these beauties of nature because they provide us happiness, which is permanent, which never comes to an end, and it never decreases. It increases with the passage of time. That if we human beings have to come out of our worries and tensions, we need to spend some time in the beauties of nature. Only then we can come out of all these problems. Whatever we have adopted in our life, that is due to our wrong ways, due to our ill feelings for others, that we come into worries and tensions, we create health problem for us. And if we enjoy, we spend some time in the beauties of nature, with the nature, we sit and we enjoy, then these problems can be controlled, or we can overcome these problems and can improve our health. Clear? Any problem if you have, you can ask. Divyanshi, now last ending lines are clear, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt now?
No, ma'am.
Yati Sharma? Yati Sharma, beta, any doubt if you have, you can also ask. No problem? Let's discuss some of the questions. Yes, Divyanshi, beta, if we talk about the first stanza, how is a thing of beauty, joy forever?
Think of beauty provides a permanent joy to people who are sad, and it's love. The beauty of the beautiful things increases every day, and it never comes to an end.
Yes, all beautiful things offer pleasure to the onlooker or the person who is watching or looking at them. One feels charm and bliss in the company of the beautiful objects or living beings. These are constant sources of happiness. Clear? What happens when we see a beautiful thing?
The
Yes?
beautiful things provide us peace of mind.
Yes, a beautiful thing or a sight of beautiful things edifices us, Find the new word. Edifices means gives us inspiration also, motivate us, and refreshes our mind and soul, gives us peace of mind. What do you understand by a bore? What do you understand by a bore?
Ma'am, a shady or a quiet place.
Yes, a bore is a pleasant place in the shade under a tree. It protects persons, animals from the hot rays of the sun. You can say a shady place. Then explain the line pass into nothingness. What do you mean by pass
The
into?
line pass into nothingness means that the thing of beauty, the joy that we get from thing of beauty never comes to an end. It is
Yes,
immortal.
yes, this phrase means turning useless. The poet says that a beautiful thing never loses its relevance to become useless. It's an eternal spring of joy. Then, if we go for the next lines, therefore, on every morrow, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways made for our searching. What do we do every morrow? What do we do every morrow? क्या करते हैं हम हर सुबह?
Every every morning we see things of beauty and we it refreshes our mind
Hmm. Why we do all this?
to get internal peace.
Internal peace, otherwise to have bond with the nature. The poet wants us to have this bond. That's why he stresses upon this thing. He stresses upon the relationship between man and nature. He believes that there is an unbreakable bond which binds man with nature and the earth. So the beauties of the earth fascinate man. Every object of nature is a source of beauty and happiness. And every day we are weaving a wreath of flowers, and this flowery band binds us to the beauties of this earth. According to poet, क्या वो कहना चाहता है कि ह्यूमन बीइंग्स में और नेचर में एक पर्टिकुलर एक स्पेशल टाइप का बॉन्ड है, जिस वजह से ह्यूमन बीइंग्स डेली जो है मॉर्निंग टाइम में एक फ्लारी बैंड जो है वो बनाते हैं. दैट मीन्स दे क्रिएट अ बॉन्ड बिटवीन देमसेल्व्स. नेचर की चीजों को देखते हैं जिससे कि एक नया बॉन्ड जो है उनमें क्रिएट होता है. What is a flowery band? A flowery band means a string of flowers joined together beautifully. जैसे एक हार, फूलों से हार बनाया जाता है, ठीक है? तो every day becomes a beautiful memory for us the next day. Here flowers symbolize memories. We can have the symbolic meaning of this word flowers here also, that is memories. Clear? Then what does the line, therefore are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to earth, suggest to you? Because our poet Keats is a lover of beauty. He employs his senses to discover beauty. The link of man with nature is eternal. So the things of beauty are like wreaths of beautiful flowers, and we seem to weave a flowery band every day. It keeps us attached to the beauties of this earth. According to him, what he suggests कि human beings जो हैं वो डेली फूलों का एक हार बनाते हैं. उसका मतलब कहने का ये है कि वो फूलों को निखारते हैं, देखते हैं, जिससे कि हमारा एक बॉन्ड जो है वो नेचर के साथ बना रहता है. Why are we despondent? Yes, बेटा. Why are we despondent?
People are suffering from sadness and gloom because there is lack of human qualities in. Moreover, people are not noble in nature, so that is why people on the earth are sad and gloomy.
Yes, we possess evil qualities of malice, ill will, hatred, jealousy for others that causes disappointment in us. And we suffer from the lack of noble qualities. That's why we feel despondent. Can you explain over darkened ways made for our searching? over
By
darkened
this
ways.
line, the poet John Keats means that the humans, use ill ways for their own benefit or to exploit others for their own benefit.
Yes, the poet wants to say that man himself is the root cause of all his suffering. कि जो problems हैं उसका वो cause खुद ही है. Because we suffer from malice, distress, because we lack human qualities and it makes us inhuman. Our life becomes gloomy. We cultivate unhealthy and evil ways. So all such things bring miseries, sorrows, and sufferings to human beings. Clear? In the next lines, what do you mean by in spite of all? In spite of all.
Uh, by the line, in spite of all, poet wants to convey that in spite of all the despondence and gloom in a man's life, there are things of beauty that are present to provide a permanent joy to human.
Yes, our lives are full of miseries and troubles. Every day we find ourselves stressed with the affairs of day to day life. Yet, whenever we come across any beautiful thing, it removes our sadness and gives us joy. Then, what do you understand by dark spirits? Dark spirits refers to the feelings of sadness and despondence. Clear? Then, what are the beautiful things the poet has enlisted? What beautiful things are enlisted in the poem? The sun, the moon, old and young trees, the scene of simple sheep standing under a shady tree is really touching. Then the poet has used here the metaphor simple sheep. What do you mean by simple sheep? The metaphor used by the poet. It means it symbolizes innocent men.
Reference
Yes,
to
it
Holy
refers
Bible.
to the innocent men. This has its reference from the Holy Bible, where common folks have been compared to simple sheep. This refers to the Bible because this reference is given in the Bible. Human beings are considered as simple sheep in the Bible. That reference is given here by the poet. Then in the next lines, how do daffodils and rills enrich the environment? Yes. How do daffodils and rills?
Daffodils mean beautiful flowers,
Hmm,
and clear rills mean small streams of water.
hmm,
These daffodils increase or enhance the beauty of green world, as
yes.
well as the clear rills provide a cooling cover, that means a comfortable cooling place in a hot season.
Yes, very good. What are the clear rills? We have already discussed. Same clear rills means small brooks of clear water, and here they symbolize the pure thoughts. You can go for the symbolic meaning also. Here it refers to the pure thoughts of mind. A person having purity in mind can face all the troubles bravely. Clear? Then there is one metaphor again used against the hot season. If we explain this metaphor against the hot season is a metaphor which stands for the troubles and miseries of life. The poet says that although human beings often suffer from sadness of one kind or the other, a beautiful thing like the natural beauty of forests gives them some refreshment. Clear? What contrast has the poet given in this stanza? Any
Contrast is in the line against the hot season.
contrast is between the beautiful things of nature, the sun and the moon. Both are in contrast. One is hot, one is cool. Old and the young trees. Again, this is a contrast. Cooling, covered, and hot season. This is again a contrast. Moreover, the poet has shown an inevitable relation of pleasures and sorrows in life. Both of them go hand in hand. This is also contrast. Sorrows and joys or the pleasures. Then, what do you mean by the word, this phrase, the grandeur of the doomsday? What does the poet mean by the grandeur of the
Ma'am, your
doomsday?
voice is cracking.
The grandeur of the doomsday.
Remember, this line poet means that for all the good deeds that the ancestors has done, they may be awarded on the last day of the life.
Yes, the mighty dead were powerful and dominating persons during their own time. Their achievements made them mighty and great, and their noble words dazzle our eyes. We imagine that such mighty dead forefathers will attain more grandeur on the doomsday. Hence, grandeur is associated with the mighty dead. What do you mean by mighty dead? There is a contrast. Nothing is permanent on the earth. The mighty people who created history have died, who did good deeds, they have died. It means the mighty dead means even the powerful people have also died. Then, which tales does the poet talk about? Which
Poet talks about the lovely tales that he have heard from his parents or other ancestors.
Yes, the poet talks about the lovely and the beautiful tales that we have heard from our elders. Hearing those tales gave us a lot of joy, but he wants to say that the happiness and the joy that we get from the beautiful things of nature is far more than that. What is immortal drink? What does he mean by
Immortal drink refers to a
refers to?
immortal drink, a life driving force or a nectar that is provided by the heaven in the form of things of beauty, which helps the person to get out of the sadness and the gloom in which they live.
Yes, which provide us everlasting permanent pleasure. Clear? Yes, now any doubt in this poem you can ask. Is it
No,
clear
ma'am.
now? No?
Clear.
Everything clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Uh, happy
Thank you,
Lodi
ma'am.
and happy Makar Sankranti.
Same to you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.